Well, there you are, and here I am, Vic Solo, back with you once again for another album review. We did a few weeks ago, Village People's 1983 Rare Gem in the Street, and today, to commemorate the 34th anniversary of the passing of Eric Carr, who was the band's second drummer, replacing Peter Criss in 1980 after the recording of Unmasked. If you know your history, see what I did there? Anton Fig, who now plays and has many years played, well, not now, but played on the David Letterman band, because Letterman retired from TV years ago. But he played on the Dynasty record, as well as the Unmasked record, while Kiss was in the process of trying to find a new drummer, and they had held some auditions in New York City, and Eric Carr got the gig. He became the Fox in the makeup, but of course in the 80s, which is the era that this album comes from, 1989's Hot in the Shade, that's Leon the Sphinx on the cover. He would also be featured as a set prop with a moving mouth, for their tour for this album. Where was I? Oh yeah, 80s, no makeup. Also, we had passed through a few guitar players after Ace Frehley left. There was Vinnie Vincent and Mark St. John. But now we've got Bruce Kulick, who joined the band in 1984 after the recording of Animalize and went on tour with them to fill in for Mark St. John. But then Mark St. John ultimately was dismissed from the band because he had a bad form of arthritis called Writer's syndrome that affects the joints, inflammation of the joints. So Bruce was the guitar player now. He had a few albums under his belt. At this point, Asylum and Crazy Nights. But now, Hot in the Shade. This is the new album. This, of course, is the 80s, so it's the MTV era, and 3 of the songs had accompanying videos to be played on MTV. And we will get to those as we go along. Let's just dive right into the track listing now. Number 1 is one of those songs, Rise to It. If you've ever seen the video, it starts with Paul and Gene putting on makeup, and it says Backstage 1978. And Paul's saying, Gene, we could take off the makeup and we go, just go back to playing clubs. And Gene's like, oh, without the makeup, I think you're nuts. They do the song, Rise to It. Great banger, great rocker, good album opener. And then at the end, they're in full face makeup. And Paul says, I'll tell you, Gene, no matter what happens, it's still going to be Kiss. And Gene's like, yeah, I guess so. But as far as the song goes, fantastic song, great musicianship here. Has an acoustic guitar opening done by Paul Stanley, I believe, instead of Bruce Kulick, even though Bruce did play electric leads on the track. And fantastic song. Check out the video. It's on YouTube. Number 2, we've got Betrayed. Now, Betrayed is a pretty good song, pretty solid song. At this point in time, I don't think Kiss was following trends. I think they were just trying to put out some good old-fashioned rock and roll and still stay true to their sound. Number 3 is an interesting song because not only did this song feature a video for MTV Airplay, but it also was covered by a number of other people. And it was co-written by Holly Knight and Desmond Child, I believe. It's called Hide Your Heart. And again, great vocals by Paul. All these songs have lead vocals by Paul so far. And, another great video. The thing I love about this video is Paul is wearing an all-over print tank top of Elvis Presley. If you know Paul, he was a big Elvis fan. Not that the song sounds anything like something Elvis Presley would do, but a little tribute there to one of his rock and roll idols. And this song was also covered by Bonnie Tyler, by another band whose name escapes me for the moment. And can you believe it was covered by Ace Frehley? That's right, Ace, who is not in the band at this point, for his album Trouble Walkin', did a cover of the song as well. And truth be told, just my opinion, I like Ace's cover better. And he's got some of the members of Skid Row doing backup vocals for him on that one. So, but take nothing away from Paul's vocals and Kiss's version of the song. Hide Your Heart is a wonderful song, and it must have been because all these people did great covers of it. So, there you go. And then you got Prisoner of Love, pretty good rocker right there. Read My Body, that's caught a lot of flack over the years from Kiss fans as being a not so good Kiss song. Doesn't bother me in the least. Then you got, let's see what we get. We got the next one here. Love is a Slap in the Face. Gene's vocals on this one. Hey, love sometimes can be a slap in the face, depends on the situation. Maybe Gene was writing from experience there, I don't know. Because we all know Gene was quite the ladies' man in the 70s and 80s. Maybe somebody rubbed him the wrong way or slapped him real hard. Anyway, that's what happened with this one here. The next song is one of Kiss's biggest hits of all time, a power ballad. Co-written by, if you can believe this, Paul Stanley and Michael Bolton. Yes, that Michael Bolton. It's called Forever. A beautiful song with some great acoustic work in there, a great acoustic solo by Bruce, during the instrumental bridge before the last chorus. And musically, just a beautiful, beautiful song. Power ballads were big at the time. A lot of people were putting them out. So Paul got together with Michael Bolton, who had history with Bruce Kulick. Because believe it or not, if you didn't know this already, Michael Bolton was a hard rock singer with a band called Blackjack, in which Bruce was his guitar player, along with Bruce's brother Bob Kulick, who has a long-standing history with Kiss as well. So, from the days of Blackjack, Bruce must have just reached out to Michael and said, hey, can you help Paul write this song? Years later, Paul has said that he's written a majority of the song, even though Michael Bolton, when he performs the song in concert now, says, oh yeah, I want to sing this song that I co-wrote with Kiss. I guess it depends who you talk to, but the writing credits are credited to Paul Stanley and Michael Bolton. And this is a great song. Great song. As you all know here on the channel, I'm a singer myself. This is one that I've sang before when I've done Kiss tributes or just done a mixed bag where I want to pull out a song that I love from a particular era. So Forever by Kiss. Again, videos on YouTube. Check it out. One of my favorite Kiss songs of all time. Then we've got Silver Spoon, Cadillac Dreams, King of Hearts, The Street Giveth and The Street Taketh Away. I'm lumping all these songs together because they're kind of indistinguishable to me. I mean, good songs, yes, but this really, a lot of folks think this is not one of Kiss's best albums from the 80s. I tend to agree on some level, but it's not a terrible album. Not by any stretch. What do we got here? You got You Love Me to Hate You, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell. But let's get to the next one. Well, before we do, let's jump over it for a minute, rather, and go to Boomerang, another song that's really not very memorable. And that's why I'm lumping all these songs together, because they're kind of just like, they're there. You listen to it once, and you say, oh, okay, that was a Kiss album. Those are some Kiss songs. But one of the main reasons I wanted to talk about this album today is track number 14, Little Caesar, sung by Eric Carr. Now, Kiss put out a box set back in 2000, 2001, somewhere thereabouts, and yes, I own it. And I think it's down there somewhere. And there's a song on there called Ain't That Peculiar, sung by Eric. And he brought the demo to the band, and they said, yeah, we're going to put this, but we really think this should be like an autobiographical song about you. What is it about you, Eric? Now, anybody who knows their history, once again, Eric Carr's real name is Paul Caravello. Changed his name to Eric Carr because back in the makeup days, they all would change their names because, they're trying to hide their identities along with the makeup. So they'd go under, different names. Sometimes it'd just be an alteration of their actual name or just be a name they came up with. Eric wanted to be called Rusty Blades. That was vetoed by the band, so he became Eric Carr. And he's Italian. Caravello. Come on, that's about as Italian as you can get, right? So he refashioned the song to Little Caesar, because Eric was a short guy, even shorter than Peter Criss, even though he had this big, you can see it right here on my shirt, this big head of hair. But a larger-than-life personality from a little guy. But man, what a voice he has, not only on this song, but in general. And I really wish Kiss had let him sing more. But yeah, Little Caesar, that's the real reason I wanted to talk about this album, because truthfully, this is an album where I skip over a lot of songs. I'm going to be honest with you. Hot in the Shade was a great tour. I saw the tour. Yes, I did. I went in concert to Great Woods in Mansfield, Massachusetts. I think it's called the Xfinity Center now. That's where I saw the Hot in the Shade tour. And like I said, Leon, the Sphinx, would actually sing part of God of Thunder during that tour, which was pretty cool. But, Rise to It and Forever and Hide Your Heart, some of my favorite Kiss songs off this record. But Little Caesar is my favorite because it's sung by my favorite member of Kiss besides Ace Frehley, and that's Eric Carr. And I'm glad that he got to do lead vocals on this, because after Hot in the Shade, the only other time we would hear anything from Eric on a Kiss album was on the follow-up album in 1992, Revenge, which actually took place the year after Eric had passed away. And Eric Singer, current drummer for Kiss, would play drums on the entire Revenge album, with the exception of a unfinished song called Carr Jam, which Bruce Kulick laid some guitar work on. It was something that Eric had done back in the early 80s, probably about the Elder era, and finished that up, and they dedicated the album to the memory of Eric. But there's a song on there called God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too, which was featured in the movie Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and was a big hit single for Kiss in 1992 off the Revenge album. And there's a part, the bridge right before the final chorus, where Paul is singing a cappella, God gave rock and roll. And then you hear this voice come in, to everyone he gave a song to be sung. That's Eric Carr. Eric Carr even played in the video with a wig because, he had radiation treatments, chemo because of his cancer that ultimately took his life, heart cancer. And then they dedicated everything to Eric. Eric got to appear in that video. They said he took painkillers. He was in constant pain while he played in the video, but that's the kind of guy Eric was. But back to Little Caesar, one of my favorite Kiss songs of all time, not just on Hot in the Shade, but one of my favorite Kiss songs of all time. And yes, every November 24th, I wear my t-shirt as a commemoration for Eric Carr. And incidentally, Freddie Mercury, the frontman of Queen, passed away the same day. Think about that for a minute. Two rock icons, Eric Carr and Freddie Mercury. You want to get down to their real names, Paul Carvello and Farouk Bulsara. Respectively, Eric Carr and Freddie Mercury died on the same day, November 24th, 1991. So that's my review. It's a little bit shorter than most, but that's my review of Kiss, Hot in the Shade. So how many kisses do I rank Hot in the Shade? Scale of 1 to 4 kisses. I'm going to give this one 2.5. It's almost there. Like I said, it's not one of my favorite Kiss albums, but it's pretty good. Got some bangers on it, but I couldn't go any lower than 2.5, mainly because of Little Caesar. One of my favorite Kiss songs of all time, my favorite song on this album. But Forever, Hide Your Heart, Rise to It, it does have the embarrassing Read My Body on it, but anyway, worth checking out if you're a major Kiss fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell to see what's coming up next on this channel. I'm Vic Solo, you're you. What are we going to review next time? Will it be another Village People or another Kiss album? Maybe not. Maybe I'll do a film soundtrack. Maybe I'll do a children's album. Maybe I'll do a disco record or a country album. I don't know. Tune in and find out. Thank you so much for tuning in, and y'all be good now, you hear? So long.